job, buddy. P1 right there.
Good evening, Internet. No Toads 20th anniversary kicks off with the No Toad Racing League ARCA Monday night at Vegas. Because where else are you going to blow all your money on an anniversary other than old Las Wages itself? I've got the points up on the screen. I have got Kyle Gretsch. And we've got a third mystery guest in the booth, Mr. Matt Piercini. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Hello.
So we tried this yesterday with the Xfinity cars to, honestly, pretty good success. A lot of green flag running. We're not hearing that with the ARCA cars. We're hearing screams and moans and cries that they're loose, they're chewing tires off, they kicked my dog, just any possible thing we can hear. And tonight may be rough for some of the guys, especially going to watch this for the points leader. Roy Hyde, still riding out front, got an 18-point lead over Jason, although I like to call him Johnny Benson, running in second. Rafter, Al Corey's running third. Oliver Turan and the Nodge, John Crutchley, sitting in fifth in points. Robert Sweet Paint Hottenbach is in sixth. Sid Kashishian is in seventh. Dustin Barton, part of the Barton Brothers Bail Bondsman, is running in eighth. Michael Korevu in ninth. And the Rocket Man himself, Johnny Brugg, rounding out the top 10. We're going to pop over here. We've got a nice little 20th anniversary logo that will pop up and here and there. We're watching the last 3.5 minutes of practice. Sid, using mod hacks, running a 30-30. He's sitting on top of the board, but hide your kids, hide your trophies. Sitting there in the 305 is tied with him for speed as far as what it displays. Get out into the 10,000th line there, and it's a different speed, so Hyde is actually just a hair slower. Brug's right on top of him. Goff and Barton are a 10th back. This looks like last night, too. It was a real tight field. What are the differences between the ARCA cars versus the Xfinity cars?
Well, when you drive these ARCA cars, you just have a ton of downforce. You have similar-ish power. I think these are a little bit underpowered compared to the Xfinity cars, but, in the Xfinity cars, you got to drive it off the corner. You can be flat out for a couple laps, not completely, but you get to the gas, and then you got to get on the brake a little bit later in the run. These, you're just all throttle control. You're not going to be touching that brake at all. You're just running the high, wide, and handsome the whole time, just trying to keep the tires on it, and, trying to save a little bit of fuel, because we are going to be close to doing a 2-stop race here.
Yeah, when I'm looking at the times and stuff right now, these guys are actually turning times right now that are about a tenth to a tenth and a half faster than we were turning in the Xfinity car yesterday. So these things are flying. They're planted to the track. I can tell you right now, you got to keep your eyes on Johnny. I think he's going to be the guy to beat tonight.
Well, you raise Johnny, and I raise Al 10 feet of fuel line under his seat, Corey. We're looking at about, 36, 37 laps here on fuel, and we have 120 laps. You're going to want to try to make it stretch to about 40 laps for you to cut out a whole entire pit stop. Cautions, might be an issue here with how close the field is and, how confident you can just be racing hard here. It's not that tricky, racetrack like other racetracks we've run, like North Wilkesboro and other shorter ovals. This here is real flat and easy to just have crazy moments of 3-4 wide.
Yeah, you're 100% right about that, Kyle. I mean, the one thing I'm a little bit concerned about tonight is that if this holds to the same pattern that we had last week, Wilkesboro, the Xfinity race was caution fest, and the ARCA race actually was relatively green. And this week, the Xfinity race, we only had one caution flag, so I'm really hoping that we don't repeat the pattern and the ARCA race becomes a caution fest tonight.
Well, looking through, Lawson, Crutchley, Corey, Sargent, Benson, Goff, So roughly half the field was in the Xfinity last night. So, I mean, it's not the same, but there's several of them that were here yesterday and saw what we did. So, heck, who knows? I mean, that's the stick and ball sports. That's why you play the game. Well, with us, that's why you run the race.
Yep, that's absolutely right.
We've got a handy-dandy clear version of the points also while we're waiting in for qualifying to kick up and run through. Second half of that top 20 is Joe David, Nick Biddy, Christopher Harrison, John Barton, the other half of the Barton Brothers bail bondsman, Josh Kerner, Tyler Merritt, James Lawson, Matthew Parasini, who is going to be losing points because he's hanging out with these slackers up in the booth, Kenny Sutherland, and Willie Whitaker rounding out the top 20 for the Toads Season 21. And this is after 8 of 14. So, kids, that means we're running race 9. We got 5 weeks left. So we're getting into the home stretch to see who is going to take home all the marbles. And, I mean, it honestly is for real. I mean, we've got a bag of marbles we're going to give away to the winner.
And you talk about the races we've got left. We've got, normal tracks, like Phoenix, Atlanta, but then we go to Daytona again. So we're going to have another Super Speedway. So we're going to see, you got to hope that you got a good points cushion, just in case you get a bad race going into Daytona. Roy Hyde, he might have a good race here and stretch his points lead, but if he goes into Daytona and he does not have a big cushion, and he gets caught up in an early wreck, and, takes away his fast repair, and then gets caught up in another one that takes him out of the race, he's going to be in a tricky position going into Richmond and Homestead.
Absolutely. And did you just call it the stupid Speedway?
Oh, Benson just wrecked.
I did not. I still have not shooken what got me sick like 2 weeks ago. So I've got that congested.
We had a 50-degree difference in temperature over a couple days, so my head's cloudy and even more confused than normal, so I totally feel you there. Got some Rocket Man going around here, and poof, he turned into the 26 car. It's Joe David, back into Johnny Rocket. It's amazing the things we can do with iRacing. Oh, somebody reckon.
Yeah, McCuskey just got the fence big time. That'll be a quick repair.
Yep. That one is stick a fork in that one. It is done.
Oh, Sarge just wrecked down the backstretch.
Well, we're focusing in on McCuskey for some reason because iRacing.
I do have to say, going into tonight's race, I would keep an eye on Sid. He's becoming way better at doing, strategy races. He has been finding ways to save fuel. He's been finding ways to keep some tire under him. We do an 87 series here, and he has pulled the curtain over my eyes 2 times, at 2 racetracks that I thought I had him covered. So he's getting better, and he's, starting to sneak away with some good finishes. So I would not be surprised to see him, strategize, a Johnny Brugg or a, Roy Hyde in this race.
22 in the outside wall again, out of turn 2. Sid, to an extent, I'm not trying to take credit for this, but we kind of have the pack mentality of some of the stuff that we're doing, and a lot of times it's, hey, you can do the math on the top of your head when you want to stop it. And there was several times where Sid would be onto something, and I would just kind of correct the math of it and say, well, no, you want to do this because, this plus this is this. And that really, I give him a hard time about being bad at math, and he's not, but, kind of getting that correction a little bit of, well, no, if you can break, this into an even segment and this into an even segment, I kind of wish he wouldn't have picked that up, because then he took that as a baseline. Then I think he went to Rafter, and I mean, we all know how Rafter is. If you can get 20 laps of fuel out of a car, Rafter can get about 75. So he kind of learned those segmenting up a race, and then he learned the fuel mileage strategy with it. And yeah, Sid's just getting almost unreasonable to deal with at some of these tracks.
Well, looks like Mr. Hyde has put up the lap to beat.
That's what I'm just looking at. 10th slower than what they were practicing, though.
Yeah, that seemed to have happened in the Xfinity race too. For whatever reason, it was faster in practice than it was in qualifying. Qualifying, it seemed like the track did slow down about a tenth.
Well, I know the high side. it's just 8 tires. And no, I won't bring it up too many more times. But I had to put that out there in the world. It's terrible. All righty, boys, girls, children of all ages. We're loading them up. We have got ourselves a race. Got Roy Hyde on the pole. We got Sid Kashishian on outside pole. Oliver Tran, who is streaming on Twitch. My watch went off and told me that. Dustin Barton starting 4th. Nick Biddy starting 5th. Rocket Man starting 6th. The Nodge starting 7th. Chris Harrison starting 8th. Al Corey in 9th. Sarge in 10th. Rob Hottenbach in 11th. Jason Benson starting 12th. And we will, if these guys get rolling, going on down there, Joseph David, James Lawson, Kenny Sutherland, Alex Goff, Mike Corriveau, and Mike McCuskey starting 19th, and John Barton going to start shotgun on the field. But popping them into gear. You know what that means. What does that mean, Kyle?
I just sat down.
That's just that they're popping them into gear. You know what that means. Lights have gone red on the keyboard. The drivers are getting their last-minute instructions about what to do, what not to do. And we're rolling. This will be a little bit of a pack race, and then it will string out. So you kind of get both sides with Vegas, the first few laps. And, if you have a caution with everybody taking tires, tires dictate a lot here. New tires are worth a lot.
Yeah, new tires are worth a lot, but, if it comes to a green flag pit stop here, you don't want to, have that whole extra stop, because it's not going to be worth those, 3 or so extra laps. So you got to get that balance right between tire conservation, fuel conservation, and, maximizing the tires you have on the car for as long as you have them on the car.
Yes, Las Vegas, I found, especially, with the Xfinity car, and I'm sure it's probably very similar with the ARCA car, there's a very fine line between running the car too hard and burning the tires off of it, and not running hard enough and maintaining a decent pace. There's a very fine line you have to hit, and if you don't hit that line, you're going to have a very long night.
Well, there's also the one other extreme that you're missing there is where you get in a little too hard, and then you start getting a snap oversteer, and these cars, I think, are probably one of the worst when it comes to snap oversteer.
Much harder to catch than the Xfinity car.
Yep, these cars are just a little on the wild side. Green flag is out at Las Vegas for the 20th anniversary. That is 20 years, not seasons. 20 years. What were you doing 20 years ago, Kyle?
I was 2 years old, probably doing something I wasn't supposed to do.
I think same as me, except, I was older than 2.
But still a baby.
Yeah, maybe. 20 years of no-toed racing. Started on NASCAR Racing, the old Papyrus. That's in that beginning video there. Some footage got found between Rafter and Jason Benson, and just cool. These guys have been around a long, long, long time. We've got lap 1 in the books, and there's a little of the kind of pack-ish mentality, got a little side-by-side, but overall, getting lined up and just kind of turning some laps is really the thing to start doing here.
Johnny Brugg just disappeared off my screen. I do not see that he is rejoined.
He shows 13 laps down, but does not show pit road or anything on scoring.
Oh, he slid through the grass.
Yeah, well, I think we've lost him because he's down to 19th.
Well, Sid's back under power. And there goes Harrison to Goff to Turan. Up to Hyde. We're back in the lead. Not going to take too terribly long, as it generally does not, for Hyde to come out and just start putting hurt on everybody. And as so often happens, that 002 riding behind the 305. I think we have seen that in the lead every race this season.
Well, we got Michigan.
Yes. I was just going to say, Brugg, definitely mechanical failure on the number 1 car tonight.
Yeah, he is showing out. Which the 27, of course, that would be Kyle here in the booth. He went out and took some laps of it. What are your opinions of the track tonight, Kyle?
It's super racy. You just put the car wherever you wanted to put it. Just got to be careful about overdriving it. Also, Sid coming off the corner there, he was trying to make a pass there for the lead and just got loose off. You know, got that snap sideways, caught it, but had to put it through the grass to keep it going straight.
That's been a fairly common issue around here. I'm going to do my nerd out paint appreciation lap here with Rob Hottenbach, the Mellow Yellow Menards car. These cars are hard to paint. They're just cockeyed everywhere on the body. I really hate painting them, but man, they do look good. Get a good looking scheme on them. They're the best looking car on the service.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but speaking of 20-year anniversary, were you painting schemes on NR 2003? Used to the, I believe the bodies on those were symmetrical from the in the sim, so you could paint them super easily. That's what I remember, at least.
I had it. I never even raced it online. I don't think I ever even modded it, to be honest with you. I just had it and kind of was real sparingly playing it because all I had was a controller back in the day, and it was a tough game to play with a controller even back then.
Yeah, I can remember trying to put a paint scheme on a car in NASCAR 94, the very first game Papyrus came out with. That was fun.
Oh, everything looked like a brick. I think we used to call that brick car.
Yeah, that was the brick car.
Well, Johnny Brugg, he is 6 laps down, but he just reconnected to the server, so he will be trying here to make some sort of recovery drive. I don't know how... Unless it starts getting super stupid here with cautions, I don't think he's going to recover much.
He's going to need cautions.
It's not going to pull a Daniel Hemrick.
No, he's going to need cautions. This for Johnny, unfortunately, I think is turning into a very similar race that I had at Kansas.
Yeah, we're 10 laps in, which with the Xfinity cars was about where the field would kind of start to lose tire. You know, everybody get a little slidey, get a little slowed down. And that looks to be kind of where we're at. So while we're doing this, we'll do a quick little pseudo crank it up here, and we'll do some riding on boards. Got Sarge working on Harrison here. He's going to get on up underneath him.
Yeah, I'd like to bring attention to Sid's run back into the lead pack there. He got caught up in that incident going for the lead there. He got dead sideways, and he's caught back up to the front pack here. It's past 3 cars.
Flip over to him. Which he's running through there. Yeah, got a 11-second difference between first and 18th. 20 laps into it. I mean, I know ideally 40, 80, and 120, but who maybe stops at lap 25, takes that extra stop, and puts tires on it, and see what kind of hay you can make back through the field.
I think you could see somebody try that, especially somebody who looks like they're going to go down a lap or something. But yeah, I'm not sure that you'd be able to gain much off of that. But I'm definitely willing to be be told I'm wrong by somebody proving me wrong.
I kind of tried a short pit last night, and it really didn't work. But I don't have a ton of speed, so it doesn't necessarily surprise me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the strategies are going to be. I think we're going to get a little bit of a mixed bag here. But I know the driver that got burned by the fuel strategy from one particular car last night in Xfinity was Turan. And I am expecting that he may try to employ that strategy that burned him last night and go the distance on these fuel runs.
Yeah, and typically that's the more safe thing to do. You get caught up by a caution, you something by you pit early, and you just end up on the wrong end of the deal there. But yeah, pushing it out late into the run, 9 times out of 10 is going to be beneficial. But yeah, hope everything goes your way.
Well, I mean, the dreaded short pit only works so often, and that's part of the beauty of it, I guess, is when it actually does work. And I think our ride through Crank It Up went a little long. I have managed to somehow forgot that the headset that I've got has an actual disconnectable mic, and so when I moved it to get a drink while we were doing that, I think I pulled it out a notch because I think I was talking and nobody heard me. So how's that for some technical difficulties for it? Made the race way better by not talking.
Yeah, the funny part of that is you had the technical difficulties. Me and Parasine didn't have anything. We're just sitting here kind of too scared to say anything because we don't want to mess up your Crank It Up.
Yeah, you're the lead driver on this broadcast.
Well, and I had Harrison was up underneath Benson. They were about a quarter second apart. I was, we were riding on board, and I was actually kind of talking about that and just saying that he was up there harassing Benson and trying to move forward. And that was really the bulk of it. We rode along with Goff. Him and Dustin Barton were doing a battle for 5th. And Goff's showing back on the screen again there. He's tooling around behind Sarge, who is up there harassing Benson again.
During this last lap, McCuskey tagged the wall and almost spun out in the backstretch, but he recovered.
Yeah, I've just been monitoring lap times here, and even our leader, Roy Hyde, his lap times have already fallen off almost a second and a half from the fastest laps that they were turning. So tires are definitely going to be important here.
Yeah, you pit, the simple thing to do, maximizing tires here would be to pit every 30 laps, 30, 30, 30, or 30, 60, 90. You got to hope those 10 laps, that you're able to gain back, what you put, you lost pitting. So it should be interesting here to see if anybody does try it and if it does end up working out, because I don't think it will, but with its tire drop off, it might.
Well, the 15 seconds that you're going to gain, the second and a half of 10 laps, you can't do a 4-tire pit stop and get down pit road in 15 seconds. So, yeah, that will be a net loss.
Well, you don't know depending on how, other people are treating their tires. Some people might hit a cliff here and they might drop off, a couple seconds a lap more later in the run, so.
Yeah, it depends here, but I mean, one thing I'm looking at is that if you're going to play the fuel strategy, anybody that's basically back around even Rafter, Al Corey is going to be tough. Being 7-7's back of the leader, playing the fuel strategy card could be difficult if Roy does the 30-60-90 strategy.
And there is Rafter going around. Well, Harrison had a little bit of a wobble going there off into one. There's Goff is now making his way up here to Hottenbach to see if he can steal him some. Boy, the ARCA cars, and I beat this old drum one more time. I run a lot more trucks really than anything, so I've run the trucks at Vegas. I don't even know how many times. I've got a ton of laps around here, and they don't really. They'll high side, low side. They don't really seem to particularly care a whole lot. I mean, they got enough downforce and or little enough motor that you can just kind of do whatever. These ARCA cars, don't really see anybody trying to go up high or trying to pass anybody high. Is it just something kind of dynamically with the car? Do they just not like it? Because
you know what? I think it's the fact that the low side at this track just has so much grip in it, and that's where you can really run some fast lap times. We do have some takers on pit road here.
Yeah, we got McCuskey, and then we also have Keith Sutherland. Sutherland, I don't know his first name.
Did you say Kenny Sutherland? Or
I said
call him
Keith. I don't know his last name. I feel bad.
Well, I wonder if Keith is going to do
it. It is Kenny. It is Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny Sutherland. We got Goff. If I can catch him. He's coming in. Oh man. Kashishi. I looked down and about to say Keselowski. Yeah, we got takers on this curved front stretch pit road that we can't even use the still cameras for. Is that not a shame?
These are people committing here. They don't think they're going to be able to make it to lap 40. If anybody here can make it to 40, for someone like Sid and all these guys to commit to this strategy, it's definitely looking difficult to make it stretch to 40 laps. That's 3 whole laps of fuel under green here.
The problem is with Sid is that he was just too far back. The problem is that once you start in 9 to 10 seconds back of the leader, even if you're running that 40 seconds, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
We got Nick Biddy in this lap.
Yeah, when he is peeling off.
The Hottenbach's coming in.
Hyde is in. Sargent is in.
Well, we had a close call there with Nodge and the 26. The 26 was checking up and didn't indicate that he was pitting.
Rafter's in. That's telling.
Yeah, that is telling.
Koravu is in, lap 35, so 35, 70, and then gonna stop with 10 to go? Well, that'd be 15 to go.
That or you just wait for a caution, or just gas and go, or take 2 tires or something.
Yeah, that's a strategy.
I'll tell you, I think Oliver's going with the fuel strategy because he is still out there making laps.
I was just about to jump on board with him.
I did the Daytona 24 with him, and unfortunately he got put in a situation to just fuel save, and he did a fantastic job of fuel saving. So, I didn't say anything about him fuel saving, but, if he's stretching here, I have confidence in him.
He was close enough to Roy that he could make this strategy work. I mean, we're working lap 37, and he's still out there, so I like where he's going with this.
Yeah, and especially when you're the leader here, and you can dictate your pace. Oh,
if he can stretch this a lap every time, I think he'll be able to make it.
Well, that's the thing, is you kind of have to hit your mark the first time, because then you're just kind of saving more and more and more on the back end. So it's possible, but I think it's very unlikely for someone to just magically find a couple extra laps unless they really, really hunker down those final couple few at the end of the race.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, one thing that this could do though is if Oliver runs this strategy, this could set him up for a gas and go for the last stop as well.
Yep, right. Yeah, 2 or 3 laps here turns into 6 laps, turns into 9 laps. So yeah, I mean that definitely will be an advantage at the end of the race, or can be.
I mean, if you come on to pit road and you're going to do a gas and go and you're only on for, I mean, they're probably only going to need 3 to 4 seconds of fuel, Oliver would need. If he makes that one work, you know, Roy stopped pretty early. I think he'd have to take tires. I don't know if Roy could make up that much time.
Yeah.
Definitely entered the chess match area where people are on their different strategies here, and you know, you got your tire differences and everything, so this will be really interesting to see how this plays out.
So from first to last here, looks like McCuskey was the first to stop. Sid came in with him, well, the lap after. Sutherland come in with him. Goff come in with the preceding lap. Hyde and Sargent were then in. Then Corey, Hottenbach, Biddy, David, Corvu. They all stopped about 4 laps ago. Then we're looking at the Barton, Benson. Then just Tran. Looks like Harrison was the last one to stop, him and Tran. So they put the distance out there.
I think the either the early adopters, people who pit, or the people that pitted late are going to be the ones to look out for. So people like Roy and you know, Oliver, you know, they are on 2 separate ends of the spectrum here. So they're really going to give you a showing of, you know, what worked and what didn't here at the end of the race.
Well, the problem is that I'm looking at for Oliver's strategy is that if he's going to make this work, he's going to have to start catching Roy, because he's now 8.5 seconds back of Roy. He lost a ton of time by staying out.
Yeah, but you lost the 8.5 seconds here. But if he is able to, you know, at the end of the race, you know, Roy's going to have to pit, and he's going to lose a bunch of time here. If you get a gap behind you to the person nearest, or a person that you know you're racing against, you know, that gives you that room to just fully save everything you need.
You know, I think he might be saving here because he is running some slower lap times than the leaders right now.
Well, I mean, sitting 5th is one thing, but being 9.5 seconds back doing it is kind of different. I mean, I agree with you there that, I mean, you got to at least be, I mean, in the same general area for that strategy to work.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying that is Roy just did a 30.8, and the lap before Oliver turned a 31.5. So yeah, I think we've definitely got the 2 different ends of the spectrum here. I'm very interested to see how this is going to work out with the 2 of them especially.
Well, meanwhile, Sarge, Goff, Barton, you know, they're just hanging. And, I mean, we're still, speaking of doing math in the top of my head, 75 laps left. I mean, there's not any real good reason not to. I mean, you got to get the laps clicked off, but I kind of see this being an all too familiar looking race for what I've run, that you all just kind of click off laps, and kind of get to spacing off, and you know, lose a 10th here, lose a 10th there, and pretty soon you're so far back you just flat cannot catch up. And, you know, you need that caution to come out.
Yeah, it's starting to get that, you know, I definitely with Roy, I mean, he's stretched out now to 6.7 seconds over Sarge, so this is reminding me a lot of Johnny last night. He kind of checked out on the field as well, so yeah, if they don't they don't get a caution or start reeling him in here, this is going to be Roy's race to lose.
Yeah, if I was Roy here, I would just use that 6 point whatever seconds gap I got just to save some fuel here, because if you
back her down,
put her back into into that conversation of being able to put it at that that 40-40-40 kind of pit stop strategy, you could just completely lock up the race here.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, when you've got that big of a lead, I would start backing her down and trying to save a little bit as well.
Well, this is kind of the last thing everybody probably really wants to see. You got the points leader just stomping a mud hole in everybody's backyard. And, I mean, God, what do? You know, I mean, you talk amongst yourself and see who's going to be the sacrificial lamb, go there and hook him and put him in the wall? No, not really. But, I mean, you know, that's got to be kind of a sinking feeling that, you know, I mean, the guy that's already leading in points is just out there dominating you tonight.
Yeah, but it can go away in a hurry here because even last night we had the race kind of played out like this, but we had a really odd caution come out in a pit cycle last night that kind of messed everything up. So this race isn't far from over yet.
Nick Vinny with a crossover on Sid. Doesn't finish it though, but man, that was an aggressive left hook. Oh, he's going to finish it off in turn 1 and 2 underneath Sid. Or maybe Sid's going to have the momentum off the high side coming down the backstretch. We've just got ourselves a good old-fashioned side-by-side drag race. Sid might finally get cleared this time. Yep, get that job completed. There he comes back in. We'll try and make it work into 1. Biddy's going to take him for 8th.
This was the thing I noticed during practice is that that apron is very, very slippery. If you get on that apron and you're not, you know, clear up, you know, that could cause an accident there where you start getting that loose from that transition, and then you kind of have to wash back up into traffic.
The one thing about the apron, though, and I don't know, I haven't run the ARCA car at Vegas, but if you can use it like the Xfinity car, I was using the apron in the later part of the run to actually help to de-wedge and loosen the car up a little bit because it would start to get way too tight. And if you use the apron to de-wedge the car, you could actually make some pretty good lap time.
Are you talking about in the corners or just on the straightaway? Or in the front stretch?
In the corners. So you could actually, especially around 3 and 4, if you hook that white right on the white line, you could actually loosen the car up a little bit and actually make some lap time.
I accidentally did that a few times. It did seem to go better. But the Xfinity car is not as, I guess, temperamental of that kind of stuff as the ARCA car.
The ARCA car tends to be a lot more snappy. Like if it gets loose and snaps on you, it's a lot harder to catch than the Xfinity car.
Yeah, I wouldn't try that apron thing with the ARCA cars here. I think that's a recipe for a quick overcorrection and a fast repair.
Or just a DNF. We got Benson kind of harassing Rafter here. Trying to anyway. They're mixing it up for 5th and 6th.
Very, very important thing I've noticed between the two of them is that on the ARCA car, at least, they run the same number font.
Well, that would stand to reason. They do the bulk of the graphic stuff for No Toad Racing League, so that's I'd get that. Oh, wrong camera. Where'd that go? The Rafter's not going to give this up without a fight. And they're both 40 numbers. I think you've uncovered a conspiracy. We'll watch these guys fight here for just a second.
Yeah, in about 5 laps here, we should be approaching pit stops here. Or the window, at least.
You know, I've just been watching. Oliver has cut the lead by about 4 seconds here in the last about 10 laps. So he's doing what he needs to do here right now.
Yeah, and you're talking about his slower lap times kind of at the beginning of the run. You know, he should have some saved tire here that he should be able to take advantage of as well. And he's also, you know, when he pitted way later than the leader, so he should have fresher tires anyways. Plus, with the, he's getting close there with Christopher Harrison and hits the wall.
Car looks okay. I don't think he got much damage out of that. Sarge is probably going to take him here going into 1, though.
Yeah, you gotta wonder if he's abusing that right front, or if he has been over the entire run, just, you know, hasn't gone away and he can't lean on it as much as he should.
You know, I'm telling you, Sarge to me is starting to look like, you know, he could be a contender in this thing. He has been running consistent lap times up in the top 3. I'd sure love to see him get a win on the 20th anniversary. That'd be pretty cool.
He is up 8 spots in the running. The only guy who has made any more headway is Alex Goff, who has picked up 9. Yeah, Sarge is definitely making it known that he's out here. He also told us that he got some new pedals, and they had made a pretty big difference in what he was able to do. So we may just be seeing what Sarge is capable of, and, you know, isn't limited with. Oh boy, I thought him and Trainer were about to slap each other, to be honest with you. Showing everybody what he can do as far as I got good equipment. You know, look at me go with it.
Yeah, everyone talks about with the sim racing stuff, you know, they get too focused on their, you know, what rig they have with, you know, their steering wheel setup and, you know, all the other peripherals. But, you know, the big thing, I think, is just your pedals. If you don't have good pedals, then, you know, that's the majority of, you know, what makes the difference.
Well, Sarge actually got those pedals in November, and I noticed almost instantly something had changed because he was a lot faster running up front, and it was harder to pass. And I actually asked him, I said, have you changed something? And he said, oh, yeah, I got some new pedals. I was like, aha, that would be it. And, yeah, he said he really happy. He said it made a huge difference to him.
Yeah, once you get by that acclimation period, especially with that brake pedal, if you get a good stiff, you know, load cell brake pedal, you know, that really helps you at all the tracks with the hard braking.
Well, it should help with hard braking, but also light braking, right? I mean, more so it should act more like a brake pedal from a real car, right?
Yes, but we have 2 cars pitting here. We've got McCuskey and it looks like Sutherland.
And that was the 2 that came in the first time right around this 60 lap mark.
So Sutherland is in, McCuskey is coming. But yes, the with brake pedals, especially if you have a load cell, it's all pressure based, so you can just give it that light tap, and, you know, once you figure out, you know, how much pressure is, you know, enough or too little, you know, that little bit is so much better than just relying on a spring.
Every little bit helps, right?
Well, I'm about to find out, so we'll see here in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's right. You're still waiting for parts to get yours running, aren't you?
Yeah, they take a long time to come from the U.S. to Canada.
Then see, that's what we've said about China for a long time. It takes forever for stuff to get from China here.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for 3 more parts, but yeah, for Christmas last year I bought myself a full setup, so I'm interested to see where that's going to go. The guys are griping because they said you don't need to be any faster as it is, so I'm like, well, we'll see what happens.
Kenny Sutherland here had a moment coming out of the pits. Yeah. Oh, yeah, out and around. They got her locked down, stayed basically underneath the white line. So no caution, just a little loop-de-loop. And Hyde his tires because he's too dang fast. Roy Hyde is on pit road.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there for Sutherland. You know, you lose all that time leaving the pit road there. You know, you do a good job of, you know, not being the person that brings out the caution, but you lose all that time, and now you've got worn, heated up tires from looping it on the apron. We got Al Corey pitting.
Now I'm gonna keep an eye on Oliver's here and see how far he goes on this tank.
Yeah, as close as he can get it to 40, you know. He might be able to get it there, but, you know, we don't know. He looks like he's letting off pretty good entering the corner.
Now we're just starting to see some movement from the top 15 here. So yeah, McCuskey was a lap 31, lap 61. Goff was lap 32, lap 63 for pit stops. Hyde looks like he's going to be lap 60. Well, it might be 5. This little graphic here that we've got, well, it's not really little, but this graphic we got here is pretty handy for stuff. And as they're growing in there, it's a little difficult to figure out which lap it's going to populate for you.
Well, I know this much for sure. If this was real life NASCAR, Oliver screaming there's debris everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 1 5 or 6 lap caution is his ticket to Golden Town. Or Silver City. I may have just watched Joe Dirt. Silver City was Rat Race, by the way. Was it Silvertown was Joe Dirt? You guys can't tell me you haven't seen either one of those movies?
Nope.
No, I was checking out something. McCuskey just put that he was pitting in again, but I guess that was a misclick.
Yeah, he does. Every now and then he'll hit the wrong preset.
Oh, we got 2 cars pitting this time.
Dustin and Benson.
We got the Slurm car, and then we got the Stay Puffed 42.
Yeah, how can you not like Slurm? Futurama. Shut up and take my money. It looks like
We need a Hypno Toad scheme.
Oh, we need a Hypno Toad Roy Hyde. Slow him down a little bit. Benson with the James on the quarter panels. We see James quite a bit in the Discord.
So Roy's about to overtake Oliver here. So Oliver's going to need to come in here in the next lap or two.
Yeah, if you watch 4th place there, a Hyde, look at how rapidly that is backing away from 34. He's already gained about a second and a half. That is new tires versus 36, 37 lap old tires.
Yeah, Oliver's definitely going on the strategy of stretching the fuel as far as he can.
Yeah, just the unfortunate thing is here, he's going to have to make this go, 9 to 10 more laps to, cut out that extra pit stop, but, that looks very unlikely.
Yeah, like I said, I think this strategy, if I'm playing this strategy, I'm thinking probably it's going to be gas and go on the last stop.
I'm also thinking get up high like that, let that 26 go, because the last thing you need to do is get a caution that you're in.
Yeah, you don't want to get run over. That's the big thing everybody has to remember during pit cycle is that guys will be coming a lot faster than you think, and you have to be prepared for it.
Of course, you get a caution. Most of everybody's a lap down. Only one of them's getting the lucky dog, which right now would be Sarge. Roy did it the hard way. And what was that? 2 more laps, we have lost another almost 6 seconds.
We got 2 pitters here. We got Nodge and John Barton.
John Barton has got himself no.
Okay, Oliver's coming in this lap.
Yeah, so for him, it's looking like he's going to have to do a pit stop here at the end of the race with about like 10 to 15 laps to go. It might be a fuel gas and go, or could be a 2-tire stop. I don't expect it to be a 4-tire stop, but
I'd be nervous putting 2 on an ARCA car, because every time I've ever put 2 on an ARCA car in a fast track like this, typically the car gets so loose it's almost impossible to drive.
That's true, but you also got to remember, depending on how many laps you've got left, how much of a deficit is it going to be versus fresh tires? Because that, 7 extra seconds, that might...
It might be
help.
enough. Yep, might be enough.
So we are definitely shaping up for a end of the run. But yeah, I mean, 40 laps would be 115. And so we're running 3 or 4 of that. So yeah, he's going to stop with 8, 9 to go. That should be a total of what, probably 4, maybe 5 seconds of sitting there, plus just travel time down pit road.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, if it's under 10 laps, if it was me, I'm probably not taking even 2 tires, because I don't want to be on pit road that long. You're probably only going to need to take 4 or 5 seconds of fuel and then get out of there.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch the tires either.
Actually, thing to bring up is you might actually be out of tires by that point.
True. Yeah, I mean, a caution changes everything.
Yeah, caution changes everything, but I will say one thing about is that you're right. If we end up getting a caution and Oliver does a gas and go in that last 10 laps and we get a caution and he still has a set of tires, like, yikes. The rest of the field's in big trouble.
That might be the only way somebody can beat Roy Hyde, is have him on 40-lap old tires and have a set of freshies. Got John Barton working his way underneath to unlap himself from Sarge.
Yeah, so the people that pit here, around in the next like 12, 13 laps, those people are going to be in the danger zone if a caution comes out, because they should be out of tires.
Oliver's going to have to run some serious lap times here. He is 17.5 seconds behind Roy now at this point.
Well, he's got that strategy down to where he's on the fresher tires, so he should be able to click off some laps here. But yeah, I don't think he's in a danger of going a lap down. It's just what happens over the rest of this run.
It's too much ground to make up. That's the biggest problem. It's just when you're almost half a lap down now, or actually you're over half of a lap down at this point, that's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, it's I mean, on one hand, it sounded like a good idea, and maybe not.
Oh, he just about bended off too. His front end was pointing towards the infield.
I did a good job saving there.
I assume we're going on Turan.
Yeah, we're
Yes,
on
sir.
Turan. Yeah, I was watching him, and his front end was pointing 45 degrees towards the infield.
Interesting to note here, even with that loose moment there, he was, still a 10th faster than Roy was that last lap. So he is a second lap faster if he doesn't have any shenanigans here.
Yeah, you never want shenanigans. So, well, I tell you, Sarge has got a real good car. Going on here for getting these on, bring up our handy dandy graphic. So on the last round of pit stops, Goff was actually first on at lap 63. Hyde, Hottenbach, Biddy were all at 64. David, Corriveau, Corey, and Sarge were at 65. Then we had Barton and Benson at lap 69. Nice. Barton and Crutchley at 73. And Turan at 74. So he is 10 laps further ahead than Hyde as far as pit cycle. Which that, in and of itself, I mean... Yeah, you're 10 laps faster... but that's 10 laps faster than the guy that's been like a second a lap faster than you the whole run. So I mean, is it? I mean, at this point, he can't even change what he's doing. I mean, he's too far in. But I mean, how would you try and even get around that?
Well, I think he's already put his eggs in the basket of, kind of having that gas and go at the end of the race, just to have that extra set of tires. Because if there's a caution and Roy's already pitted for his final stop, even if he's got 5 or 6 laps on those tires, Oliver Turn, if you put on freshies, like that's game over. That's races in Oliver's hands.
You got Rugg 13 laps down. For the crawler, he's down 13 spots. Is 11 laps down. Just Sutherland, we saw that earlier. He hung left pretty hard there right behind Roy, and must have went ahead and parked it. So Johnny will pick up that spot, but not a good points night. When you're 10th and chasing down the lead not gonna just give itself to you, and you have a fight with Roy. He was definitely looking for something better tonight.
I think, you know what, Johnny's probably on the same strategy that I am in the ARCA series, and we're just basically after the W's at this point.
I always admire when someone has a race that doesn't go their way, either by some sort of a issue or, even if it was or wasn't in their hands, and just kind of sticking by and finishing the race, even if it doesn't look like you're going to come out with a good finish here. These laps could be valuable. You can just, sit here and have a good practice session of just practicing saving tires or, fuel saving techniques and different stuff while you're not really racing anybody.
Yeah, it's a great practice session. It's the best kind of practice session you'll get. I see Oliver is now caught up to the back of Barton and Benson. But don't look now, but Mr. Fuel Saver himself has worked his way up to 3rd.
Yeah, Algis is any sort of strategic area that you can think of with cars, either that be saving tires or saving gasoline. He is, in my opinion, just like the king of it. He might be surpassed by someone else someday, but he, with him pitting that early, kind of made it very clear that that two-stopper was not going to happen. So Oliver is now up into 3rd place, sorry. He is 11 seconds behind Hyde here. He was 16 seconds, I believe, coming out of the pits.
I have actually been watching the relatives, and I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but Sarge has actually been cutting into Roy's lead here a bit.
I have not noticed that, but I am just interested to see, later into a run, what we're going to be pitting here. Pit stops are starting this lap. We got McCuskey in.
Yeah, Sarge has actually cut about 2 seconds out of Roy's lead at this point.
Get the graphic back on for who's on pit road and who's not. So I was thinking of something, because I've got a wandering mind. What do you think this game looks like? I'm sorry, this simulation looks like 20 years from now?
I think the same. I think we've hit that point where, think about the last 10 years or so. Graphics really haven't, not 10 years, but 10 years from the Xbox Ones to the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 4s to the PlayStation 5s. Graphics have not really change super differently, but you know, we'll see more processing power and maybe some more intricate back-end stuff that we can't see, but will make the racing better and more realistic.
Yeah, that's where the changes are going to happen, is in the coding. 20 years from now, these things could be so realistic that you could just about jump into the real thing and you wouldn't notice much of a difference.
Well, I don't know if you guys ever seen the Jetsons, but they had like this tube sort of thing that was actually a picture. There was like a 3D TV, so you could kind of walk around it. I've thought about that a lot, that virtual reality, if you were sitting inside of that thing that they had back in that cartoon from the 60s, would almost be virtual reality today. And I for the life of me, don't know why exactly this has popped in my head so much, other than one of my new coworkers, her ringer kind of sounds like the Jetsons song. But it just keeps making me think about that.
Yeah, that would do it.
And it's not. After you hear a couple notes, it's like, oh, that's not even close. But it just, the first few notes, it just always reminds me of the Jetsons, and I think about that TV.
All right.
We got Roy Hyde in, and it looks like we're also going to be Gary Sargent.
Sarge is coming in too. First and second are coming in.
Hyde, Sarge, Nick Biddy. Corvu is on his way out. Biddy's on his way in. Sarge is on his way in. Here comes Hyde to meet him.
Ooh, Sargent was very, very close there with that pit entry. I'd be interested here to see if he potentially spun. I think it is good, but he was definitely close there.
Well, that's more of a skill set with the No-Toad Racing League. Pit stops. There's if you do public races, you don't stop. Unless you're all beat up and you're going in to get a fast repair or something like the D license. Where here, this is running like 45, 50%, 60% fuel on top of a 120 lap race. I mean, you're going to have to stop, put fuel in them. You're going to have to put tires on them, and pit stop screw ups do happen. Rafter is in his pit, so is Harrison. And Lawson's on his way in. James! Felt the need to do that at least once.
So now the question is how far does Oliver go?
Well,
yeah, I mean, we're in a tricky situation here with, a bunch of people on old tires, hanging out, and a bunch of guys on new tires, especially with pit entries here. You never know when someone's going to try to pit and someone doesn't know behind them. Ooh, someone has a missed pit entry there.
Oh, there we go. Caution, though.
Kusky. Yeah, this is maybe exactly what we're talking about. There's pit entry.
Oh no.
Brugg had a right front throwing sparks. Whoa, okay, what was that?
Looks like Nodge was pitting, and Brugg did not know. He hooked a right, hit the wall, came off the wall, almost took out Oliver Turin, and then McCuskey swerved, kind of like what Bubba Wallace did with Eric Jones, and just hooked himself into the wall.
Yeah, that's exactly what we had just talked about. This pit entrance, somebody didn't announce it, and that's exactly what happened.
That was perfect, right as I finished saying that it happened.
Yeah, and this is going to change everything, because now Turan, Dustin, Benson, and Joe can come in and get freshies, and Roy is going to be the lucky dog, which means he's going to be starting behind a whole bunch of guys.
Well, he gets to do the wave around, or gets to do the lucky dog, but everyone else has to take the wave around because the top four will pit here. But, yeah, and I think we're good to go on fuel here.
First caution, 22 to go. And the top 5 are the only ones who are not a lap down.
33 to go?
22.
22 to go.
Oh, I'm looking at Brugg. Whoops.
I'm telling you right now, the guy that's in the catbird seat right now is the guy that's leading the race.
I would generally agree with you, but hear me out. I think, it's not going to be easy. He's got Barton and Benson, both two really good drivers here. I've never seen, uh, what David can do, but he might be able to surprise here. Roy's going to be on a slight tire advantage here. How many laps does he have on his tires? He's only got one really hard lap on his tires.
So we can call them new. I mean, it's close enough.
The one thing is that in the ARCA series, we have where the leader starts the race on the restart, and that's where Oliver could get a huge advantage here.
This is going to be a lot more equal than I think it's going to be.
Marshmallow Fruity Pebbles, 3rd place.
And, well, I hate to be the one to bring it up, but cautions do breed cautions.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be, something. We get some, Kuski's going to be hanging on pit road here for a while. So Benson's going to be bringing him down to the green. He's up 11 for the race. Dustin Barton qualified way better than that. He is only up 2 in second. Joseph David is up 10 positions in third. Then there's Ollie and Roy, and they're 4th and 5th. And that's, 20 laps ago. If this was a green-white checker, I'd honestly feel more optimistic. But this is this tough road to hoe. Roy Hyde has just flat out been just whooping these boys all night.
Yeah, and when we talk about these drivers that are kind of stuck, we're going to have kind of a barrier between Gary Sargent and Roy Hyde for 5th place here. They're going to have looks like 6 cars or so of lappers, but Sargent only has 1 lap on his tires. Same with Roy Hyde, so this is probably about as even as it could have been for caution.
Drop this off, pop back up. So as far as we're looking for, going back points, Roy Hyde leader, Benson 2nd, Rafters in 3rd, Turan's 4th, Nodge is 5th. Dustin Barton is there in 8th. He's right up front.
Sargent. No, iRacing. Oh no, iRacing has done the same thing to Roy that it did to last night. Because he's got the lucky dog, it puts you to EOL, and the iRacing has a bug where it puts the lucky dog to the back of the longest line. So Roy is behind everybody.
Dang, that's unfortunate.
Well, this, as they say, changes everything.
Yeah, this exact situation happened in the Xfinity race last night, and the guy that got the lucky dog ended up having to start behind all the wave around cars.
Oh, this is an interesting restart here. We think we're going to have 2 lanes of 2 here, and then we're just going to have a single file line on the inside.
Yeah, that was the same thing with the wave rounds last night with the Xfinity cars. So, yeah, at least it's... I guess at least it's keeping itself even across what it's doing, but...
Yeah, but it puts Roy in such a huge hole on this one.
So we're going to come around with 18 to go with Benson, Barton, David, Turan, Sargent being your top 5. with a bunch of lap cars in the way, with Roy Hyde at the back.
Green flag's out and great start by Benson.
Yep, he got a fantastic start. Corey got a real good start too. Hopped on the outside of Goff and up and away he goes.
Yeah, this battle for the lead here is going to be intense.
Well, you know Dustin's not going to let him run away and hide.
Oh yeah, Dustin.
We got a patch for the lead here.
There it goes. Been trying to tell Irie
Barton on the
for a lap.
inside of Benson.
Dustin Barton, the Slurm Mobile, takes the lead with 17 to go from Las Vegas.
Man, Oliver's a little bit too far behind here. He's got a second gap between him and the leader here. He's got to really, really reel it back in for the remaining laps of this race.
Roy Hyde just literally passed 4 cars at the same time. I kind of caught the back end of that, but he is up to 10th now and focusing on making his way back forward as quick as possible.
We still have to make sure that you conserve your tires here a bit, though, because, you know, we still have 15 to go, and you can burn them off in 15 laps.
Oh, yeah.
And if we get a restart here, you know, late in the race, you've got no tires to put back on.
That's right.
Goff's got a little bobble there. There's Roy. I mean, within the course of a lap, he's back on the next group. Going to take him 3 wide down the backstretch underneath Harrison, underneath Sid and Goff. Behind Hottenbach. They're picking off a couple more. Yeah, I mean, I don't even think that he's driving angry. I think it's just, he's just got a fast line around here.
Yeah, I mean, with this many laps left, you can't really be patient. You just got to be aggressive.
Well, he's looking underneath Hottenbach, off of 2. With keeping that thing held down as far as he does, the fact he can get any sort of a run down the backstretch is just kind of amazing.
Battle for the lead, getting close up front. Benson's right in the bumper of Barton here.
Be a good time to have side-by-side cameras.
So Oliver is clear of the third place car. He will be right behind these guys the second they get side by side.
Yeah, it looks like Benson's just kind of stalking Dustin right now.
Yeah, and Barton can really mirror drive here. You can just kind of take somebody's line away. But, yeah, you got to worry about those tires.
Looks a little closer from the car than they do sitting there on the TV camera. These two, fun fact, use a Discord channel that is common to each other. So I would assume they're probably both dead quiet. But personally, if I was Benson, I'd be trying to taunt Dustin, just try and screw him up, break his concentration.
I would say Benson is a little bit faster right now.
But they got to be careful here. If they get racing too hard, Oliver is right behind them.
Yeah, you do not want to make a wake that Oliver can suck into.
Or a mistake that Oliver can just completely blow by you guys with.
Yeah, Hyde's kind of...
Oh, here we go. He's underneath them.
Got a drag race down the backstretch. Dustin doesn't quite. There we go. We got a run to get him cleared. Ben's going to gather it up, make another run at it.
Oliver actually gained on them quite a bit that lap.
Yeah, he's down under a second. See him taunting him. The old, here, kitty, 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 kitty. But we're working single laps to go. The strategy that Oliver Tran was trying to play just, I mean, ultimately kind of ended up working out for him just through dumb luck. And I don't know how many times you got to say it. I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, he would have been able to stretch it longer than both Barton and Benson, so he was really hoping to be the only person out there when the caution came out.
All right, Benson's looking inside again here, going into 3. Ooh, no, not this time. He wasn't quite close enough.
We're keeping that momentum rolling up on the high side. Oh, Dustin, none shall pass.
Yeah, you know, Benson needs to set this pass up in 1 and 2 for 3 and 4 is what he's got to do, and I think he can do it. He's definitely getting through 1 and 2 better than Dustin is right now.
Yeah, you can't waste time here. You just got to get that move done quickly.
Yeah, this is going to be a 4-corner pass. You're going to have to set something up in one of the corners to make the pass happen in the next corner.
Well, Benson's got a little bit of a run off of 2, but it's just not going to be enough to really get going. Actually, maybe lost that, keeping it down low like that. Gets a good run in on to 3. So this looks like Benson with the 42 has got a better entry, but it looks like Dustin with the little bit higher rollout, looks like he's got a better exit off the corner.
Yeah, Benson's doing a good job here. It's just he needs to almost mirror drive him, basically be right on him for a lap or 2 and make sure that when he makes that pass, he's right on his rear bumper.
5 to go. Dustin Barton's holding off Mr. Benson. The old sticky fingers coming to swipe another win. But Dustin, being from Canada, is going to say things like, get Uda here. They are, if nothing else, just about tied them 2 cars together. Got Turan still sitting there just right out of second back. He has not made up any ground since the little side-by-side run that they had.
Yeah, it might be a little too late here for him to make a recovery, but, you know, you still got racing left.
Well, I don't know, man. Where Benson's got the tires hot, it just kind of is what it is, and he might just have to ride this one out for second and call it a good points night.
Yeah, clean air is definitely king, man. There's no doubt about that. And Dustin is doing a fantastic job basically running the exact same line as Benson. Benson's going to have to do something different here if he's going to try to pass him. And if these guys aren't careful, they're going to let Oliver right back into this.
Yep, then after Oliver, there's a pretty gigantic gap back to David. So, I mean, it really will come down to them 3, but still, if you can keep that from happening, you do it.
If Benson's got anything for Barton, he has to show it now because he's out of time.
Yep, coming down for the Hail Mary on the last lap. If this was Sarge or Rafter, we'd be like 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. We can't do that because we've only been around a few seasons to no toads. Final lap, Dustin Barton in Canada. Sticky Fingers Benson, not in Canada. It's an international flair. I think the Slurmobile is going to take out the Marshmallow-mobile.
Dustin made a mistake coming off the corner there. He's closer. Oliver made a mistake too.
Yeah, so Oliver eating the wall back there. Benson's got down under. He's going to have to hold it down. Not got nothing for him. Dustin Barton going to take the win for the No Toad 20th anniversary race at Las Vegas. The Slurmobile will slide into victory lane.
Dustin, he made a mistake in that final corner and just perfectly placed that car in front of Benson there. If Benson just ran the line he did the previous lap, he would have got under him and passed him for the win there.
Sid must have shamed his family, so he decided to end it all. Goff spit out some gum, got his front tire stuck on it, and wild flips ensued.
Well, and our dominant car, Roy Hyde, comes home in 7th place, guys.
Dustin's going to try and burn it down. Huh. Boy, that was a surprise ending, wasn't it?
That is almost eerie how close the Xfinity and the ARCA race mirrored one another.
Yeah, that, wow. that was kind of wild. Man. All right, well, not too shabby for Dustin
The
Martin.
old lucky
Congratulations.
slurm deal.
Yeah. Maybe he had Hypnotoad with him. Jason Benson coming up runner-up. Oliver Turan in third. Joseph David, fourth place effort. Sarge in fifth. Rafter in sixth. Hyde, seventh. John Barton coming up with eighth. Rob Hottenbach in ninth. The Nodge finishing 10th. Alex Goff 11th. Sid in 12th. Mike Corvu 13th. Nick Biddy in 14th, Mike McCuskey 15th, Chris Harrison 16th, James Lawson in 17th, and Johnny Brugg in 18th as we get a Polish victory lap a la Alan Kowicki. Take her around one time, point to the fans, be like, haha, I won, you didn't. Come to my trailer, buy stuff. We have got the runner-up with us. Sticky Fingers Benson. Did you do anything that you could have done to try and get underneath Dustin?
Well, I felt like I was close enough there at the end. I could have pushed him a little bit, but I figured he deserved to just take the win there.
Him and his Barton brother Bale bondsman are joint burning him down at the start-finish line right now. So how you one of the few in there that ran both cars? How different are the ARCA cars over the Xfinity car?
Well, it was a lot looser. If you gave it too much throttle in the corners when the tires were a little cold and not ready for it. It was good though. Obviously, came in a better finishing position than last night.
Do you think you guys were going to have a hope of a finish like that with Hyde stinking up the show for 80% of the race?
No way. It was totally his in the bag, and me and Dustin were just kind of working on some pit strategy to see what we could pull out, and then that caution just came out. Like I was literally getting ready to go into the pits and had to jump out when the caution flag came out. So that was really lucky for us.
Yeah, luck plays a good. I've said I'll take luck over good any day. Yeah, I was saying that you guys being in a Discord channel together, were you trying to taunt him or anything? Because we all know I would have been.
No, it was actually pretty quiet. He said some encouraging things when we had about 10 to go, but other than that, we kept it pretty focused.
Right on.
Well, great job there, Benson. Good run, good points tonight for you. I thought you'd give him a bit more of a run there. Getting on the bottom there at 3, I thought you might have been able to get to him, but good job on a second. I know that's a good points day for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like maybe I could have, but I didn't want to push it too far and be the bad guy. So I'll take it as a win here.
All right, congratulations on runner-up. We're going to bring Dustin over here with us and see what he has to say about it. Dustin Barton, that sticky slurm beats out the sticky marshmallows. How was your night, sir?
I've had better nights, I think. No, this is a great race. Real hard battling with Benson, and I completely trusted him. And I'm not sure how it was in the broadcast, but it felt close those last couple of laps.
It was close. Several times it was really close.
But yeah, no, I want to thank my sponsor, obviously Slurm, highly addictive, great racing with Benson and everybody else out there. And I mean, honestly, what a lucky break with that caution at the end for stretching our fuel runs.
Yeah, that's what I'd ask Benson. I mean, did you guys even think anybody other than Roy was going to run off with this one?
After the first stop, I said we got to push it to 2 laps before it's dry. We got to just go the long game and hope for the best at the end, have fresher tires or something. And then we got lucky with that caution rate at the end, and I think Roy had just pitted.
So now, Dustin, I'm going to say something that I don't think you're going to believe. You were tied with Johnny Brugg for the most wins this season in the ARCA series.
So what you're saying is I just need to retire right now?
No, you need to get one more.
Well, I'm going to try my damnedest. This was a fun one tonight. I'm not usually a fan of Las Vegas, but this was a blast.
Well, I like your chances, Dustin, because I did see Daytona's coming up again, and you're pretty good there.
I do love the plate tracks. I like that wait in the back and let everybody else take themselves out and then charge to the front game. So, yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, congratulations, man. It was fun to watch. It was a surprise to everybody here. That's take the luck whenever presented with the luck. But that was an awesome win, man. It was a good job.
Thanks, guys. And I was just a surprise, so I think everybody enjoyed that. And hey, go out and buy some Slurm. Thank you.
Absolutely. Everybody needs all the Slurm that they can get. Coming up third, who had a pretty good view of the back end of the winning battle here. Ollie, how did your night shape up?
Man, yeah, that was a heck of a show the Benson and Barton put on there for the last 15, 20 laps or whatever that was. So I'm happy with my third place. I'll take that. Definitely could have ended better, but top 3, can't complain.
Okay, Ollie, I got to ask the question. What was your strategy if it went green? Because we were dying to know. Were you going on the fuel-only strategy on that last stop?
No, I definitely was not going to go fuel only. It was about a 2-second drop on old tires, so that probably wouldn't have worked out. So, no, I was actually just planning on, honestly, a late yellow like we had, and then having better tires than everybody else. So, I mean, it did work to get Hyde behind me, and then Hyde, unfortunately, I feel bad for his race. He got the natural wave around, and then when the delayed yellow happened, he got shuffled to the longest line, so kind of messed up his race a little bit. So I do feel a little bad about that, but yeah.
He had a pretty good points lead coming in, and he didn't fall that far back, so don't feel bad for him.
yeah, he's not going to be hurting by the end of the season, I can tell, but yeah.
Did you think it was just, I mean, it appeared that it was you versus Roy. I mean, that was kind of the foregone conclusion watching it. And, that yellow come out, did you at least get a little bit of a fist pump for everybody watching you on Twitch?
Yeah, that was the turning point that gave me a shot to at least challenge for the win. So yeah, absolutely, I was celebrating there a little bit.
Yep, and that's with good reason. But yeah, again, here we are. You guys new to the No Toad Racing League over a 20-year stretch. I mean, so am I and Dustin and Jason and Matt and Kyle. Most of us are new. There's not many that have been around for 20 years, but they've been doing it a real long time. All the additions have turned into an extremely competitive group, and you be a part of that latest group to come in. You come in and just start running up front, and that's just been what you've been doing this whole time. So, another strong run. I mean, third is nothing to sneeze at. You're finishing ahead of the long-term guys that have been around forever, and it's fun to have you in here. We're really glad that you're here.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I've had a blast. I'm fairly new to iRacing, sim racing in general, but yeah, I mean, this is by far the best experience I've had thus far racing with you guys. So, really good times. Thanks.
It looked fun. We appreciate it. I'm going to throw us off the air because it's 10:30 on the East Coast, and some of us old people like to go to bed. So we're gonna kick you out with the awesome video that Rafter made, and then we'll catch you next week. And where are we coming from next week, Kyle?
Coming from the 2008 version of the Phoenix Oval.
Oh, the desert. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Kyle. And we'll catch you next week, everybody.
Good job, buddy. P1 right there.